welcome to another episode of Worst Collection Ever. This is the show where we tell you about the worst comic book collection in existence, and it just happens to belong to us. I'm Jen.
I'm Sean.
Oh man, it's been so long since we've done this.
I know that the future could be so different. Or the future is so different.
Yes,
because
it's so much different.
Ahead.
These 2 minutes since we've recorded the last show. Yeah. So, but we're going to talk about New Mutants.
Yes,
it's
we need
a thing that apparently you can stream.
Yes, you can
so
now.
We did.
You can now stream the New Mutants movie that came out a couple months ago, after years and years of delays. And it is not worth the wait. But yeah, they should have just waited for this movie to come out. And
they should have just made it streaming years ago.
Yeah.
It really was not worth it. It wasn't even good.
So, brief spoilers. We'll talk. So, if you guys want to skip ahead, you can just skip ahead right to the comic portion of this.
Yes.
Because we'll probably just talk about this movie. But it's, I think it has to do with the Demon Bear storyline. That was in the comics, like early on in its run.
Sure.
Like in the early 80s. And for some reason, I've never really been that interested in New Mutants.
Right.
They just seemed, because they just seemed like a bunch of like jabroni X-Men.
And that's really what they are.
And I mean, obviously that's what they are, because they're just, kids, like a young team. And I think when I was getting into comics, like it was already past that. And so when I started going back and reading of them, I was already like kind of like I didn't have any connection to them.
Yeah, I mean, I get the idea that they're like, oh, this brings in younger readers because they're young and hip. But like, for me personally, I didn't like stories about kids when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So
they weren't kids. They weren't like Power Pack.
No, teenagers, nothing. Nothing. I don't want that. I want stories about adults, and I always have. That's just me, though.
Right.
What I found extremely annoying about this particular movie is it's supposed to be a horror movie.
I don't know how that's possible.
But you know what's happening the entire time, so you're never scared.
Yeah.
Like, it takes all the tension that a horror movie should have, and it just takes it all away because you know exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
There's never a question of what's happening.
They tried really hard, especially in like the trailers and anything leading up to it, like promotions or whatever, just to kind of give it this vibe of like, oh my God, it's like a sick hospital.
Yeah.
Horror movie, and these mutants or super beings are trapped in this
hospital. This weird shit starts happening.
Yeah.
But you know what's exactly why the weird shit's happening. And you're just like, okay.
And it also doesn't feel like they really are in too much of peril, because they're just basically working on the honor system.
Yeah, and also there's only one employee there to stop them from doing anything. There's like no guards.
There's nobody. It's
just Dr. Reyes, and there she is, and like she gets to say New Mutants about 7 times.
Oh yeah, titular line, yeah.
Good for her. She gets the titular line literally about 7 times. And then it's just like, so the people we have there, we have whatever.
So the story is based around Danny Moonstar.
Yeah.
Who I always get her mixed up with like the other, I think her name is Karma.
Sure.
Like she's another mutant on the team, like because there's a bunch of team members that all had like dark hair.
Yeah.
And so like there was Karma, and then there was also Magma, I think, and Mirage. So it gets very confusing.
Right.
That there's so many of these different people, that similar look. It's kind of like, like wrestling when all the guys have dark hair and dark long hair and beards.
Well, shit. I remember when they did that one Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre like a couple years ago, when they were both wearing black pants.
Yeah.
And they both have dark hair and beards. And I was like, I don't know who's who.
Well, because also you got Elias and you got Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins is short, though. It's pretty easy to pick. I mean, short comparatively.
Right.
But when you're like Drew and Roman are pretty much like the same. And then you like zoom out and you're like, which one's fighting?
Who's got the less clothes? That must be Drew.
That must be Drew. Oh, he's not wearing a shirt. Okay, That's Drew.
Now Roman doesn't wear a shirt.
Yeah, and now you can't tell them about. He just wears pants.
If they both were wrestled in pants, you'd be fucked.
Yeah, if Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns both wear underwear, you're fucked. You won't be able to tell who's who.
So,
and that's basically what this is. But it's got Sunspot.
Well, so you have the story is based around Danny Moonstar, who is also known as Psyche, but I always thought her name was Moonstar, so I'll just call her Moonstar.
And basically, what happens is like she's woken up because there's like what she thinks is a tornado, and everybody starts running. She's on a reservation. Everybody starts running, and this unseen thing kills her dad and pretty much her entire tribe.
Her dad gets jobbed.
He really does.
Because she just goes like he hides her. He tucks her away in the woods or something, and he goes, "I'm gonna go help people." And then you just see his body fly back over. I'm like, ah.
Yeah. So she wakes up in this hospital all alone, and there's somebody in the grates who is what's her name?
Wolfsbane.
Wolfsbane is up there. And then
Arya Stark.
Yeah. And so like the doctor comes in and she's like, oh, everybody's dead. Here, why don't you come talk to all these other kids who are mutants just like you? And so that's Wolfsbane, was Arya Stark. Sunspot, who's got like the most popped of all popped collars.
Yeah. You got Cannonball.
How y'all doing?
You got British guy doing Southern accent.
I have to say it's one of the worst Southern accents I've ever heard.
It's pretty bad.
It's like, did we run out of Southern Americans who could have just done this role? Just kind of attractive white guys who you could have put in this role?
You could just get like an American that could do a Southern accent?
I'm like, can you get somebody who can do it, or who had like a grandmother from the South and they can imitate her pretty well? Like this British guy trying to hang on to this Southern accent is so bad.
Yeah.
It is a caricature of a Southern accent. He's like, how y'all doing? I'm from Kentucky. I'm just like, okay.
I definitely never had some tea and crumpets.
Yeah, pretty much. It's bad. So there's him, and then there's what's her face?
Ileana or Magic or whatever.
Yeah, but she's played by somebody who's not Russian.
I think maybe there might be some Russian descent.
Yeah, but
the actress's name is kind of Russian.
Yeah, but she's got another one of those like
tentative accents.
Yeah, we're gonna in Russia can't drive you type of like just a cartoon accent.
Yakov Smirnoff in Russia is the most powerful mutant.
Yeah, pretty much.
He has the power to elicit laughter.
Except, isn't Yakov actually Russian?
Yes.
Yeah. She is not, and it's a really bad accent.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of bad accents in this movie.
Yeah, bad accents, and there's only like 5 people in the movie.
Yeah, so it's this huge fucking hospital. Like, what, the 4 kids? 5.
Sunspot, Magma, or Sunspot.
There's 5.
Moonstar. Yeah, 5.
And Dr. Reyes. There's only 6 people in this movie.
That's it.
That's all.
There's people at the beginning.
Yeah.
And there's like a flashback, but the flashback is from Logan.
It's from Logan.
It's from fucking Logan.
It's that like hospital where they have all those mutant kids.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to spend any money for that. You just reused it. and I don't understand. So they're like, oh, because so basically once Moonstar or whatever the fuck her name is gets there, all this weird shit keeps happening. Yeah. Because apparently, like, when she's asleep and even when she's awake, but she doesn't realize it.
Yeah, it's just her power where she can create like physical manifestations of your worst fears.
But she's just doing it. So like at first I thought, oh, it's only when she's asleep, because guess what? The thing that killed her village was the bear, which is her worst fear.
Which is like a tail or something.
Yeah. So
dreamt it up and how the fucking murdered her fucking
right. But I'm just like, okay, so if she's dreaming it, why didn't it go away when she woke up?
Right.
And if because that's why I'm really confused, because she doesn't know what her power is. She doesn't know how to control her power because she doesn't know what it is.
Yeah.
But then sometimes when she's asleep, she's like projecting it onto all these other people. So like they're starting to see their worst fears.
Yeah.
But then also when she's awake, it's happening. But she doesn't know she's doing it.
Yeah, it doesn't make
And
sense
I'm
because
like,
you think she once she woke up,
it would go
disappear.
away. Right. And that's because she doesn't know she's doing it. So when she wakes up, it should go away.
Right.
Until she figures out how to control it. No, sometimes she's awake, but she doesn't know what's happening. Sometimes and I'm just like, what? How?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's ridiculous. And
then
maybe there's something to that power set that I don't quite understand.
Yeah, maybe they go into it, but I'm just like, I don't understand how you can do it when you're asleep and awake at the same time.
Yeah, you think it would just be...
It's one or the other, dude.
But yeah, it's just kind of like this aura then that she's just emanating it that is causing people's fears, subconscious fears to be realized, manifest, physically. Yeah. And yeah,
I do, however, like that we get to see, and there's no explanation for what these things are. We assume they're demons, but whatever Ileana sees is like when she was a kid, these creepy, spindly men, with like smiley face masks used to like come for her. Now, are they demons? I don't know. We don't know. We don't ever get it. But what I love about them is they're dressed like they're in some fucking Euro disco.
Yeah, right.
They're in like really nice pants and like shiny shirts, and they're like unbuttoned, like 4 buttons.
Yeah, and they're voiced by Marilyn Manson.
But they just go blah.
Yeah, well,
they don't actually speak.
They don't say beautiful people. They don't say
They don't start
dope show.
No one says I got my lunchbox and I'm armed real well.
Yeah,
nobody says that.
Yeah, nobody says that. They just go bah.
Yeah,
and they look like Europeans.
Yeah.
And so that's what she sees. Magic sees, and then you got Wolfsbane sees because she's like super Catholic.
Yeah,
super Catholic to the point where they built her like a confessional booth to not talk to anybody, but she doesn't
just
talk
so
to anybody.
She can confess to the priest that isn't there.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't think confession works that way. I think you have to actually have a priest.
Yeah, you got to talk to a dude. That's the whole point of confession is that you're unloading your sins into a mortal man.
It doesn't fucking work if you just go sit in the confessional, honey. Sorry to tell you that.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. And then I don't know. There's a lot of they try to drug this doctor so they can just
she gets drugged like a million times.
Yeah,
I feel like that's all they do is, granted, she turns out to be evil.
Yeah, she's evil.
She's evil. She turns out to be working for all, we don't come right out and say, but she's working for Mr. Sinister.
Right.
It's implied at first.
Wouldn't that have been cool if we saw him?
Yeah, great.
We didn't.
It'd been dope, because even though we busted him out at the end of oh God, what was it? Wasn't Dark Phoenix? Was it?
Oh, I don't remember. Because
there was used a part of a post-credit scene.
Oh, I don't remember.
Not him, but the implication of him, Nathaniel Essex.
Right.
So. And so we mentioned, and so he gets referenced again in this movie, even though we don't get to see him. It's implied that we think that he's that she's working for Professor X.
Yeah,
but that's not.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, she's gonna train us up to go join the X-Men, and then when Moonstar finally kind of gets an idea of what her power is, she's like, no, I saw this hospital. Where they
I watched this footage from this other movie called Logan.
I watched
it's really
Logan,
great.
And I guess they're going to take us to the Logan hospital. And I'm like, but why would they have you at this hospital and then take you to the other hospital? I don't know. So then it's I guess because Moonstar, whatever the fuck, her powers are too unpredictable. So the idea is they're just going to take some more blood and they're going to kill her.
Yeah.
And of course, her and Arya Stark have been smooching around. Because they like each other. So that's when Arya comes and viciously rips this woman's face off, which was kind of great.
Yeah.
And then but as she's unconscious, Moonstar's unconscious, that's when the bear comes again. So then they're fighting her, but also fighting the bear. And they're just dragging her unconscious body around.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I don't know what the hell.
And Sunspot's obsessed with Ileana. He's like, I'm gonna marry that girl, and then he does just a lot of hiding. He doesn't really do anything.
Oh yeah, he's kind
until
of
the very end.
He's kind of a jobber too, even though Sunspot's got some wicked powers.
Yeah, and he hides, but I have to say, he looks terrible. When they CGI him,
yeah,
he looks like garbage because they try to make his hair fire strands. It just looks so stupid. It's bad. it's like, dude, you guys just should have saved the money. Like, this looks awful.
Yeah.
And then, like, how y'all doing? I don't even know what his deal is. He's
He's
like,
got propellant.
no, I know, but he doesn't really do much. He kind of propels himself once or twice.
Yeah.
And you see him doing it on like a chain in a yard a couple times. And I guess he killed like the miners.
Well, also too is that they can't escape because Dr. Reyes has the power of creating force fields.
Yeah.
So if they want, even though Cannonball could just shoot out somewhere,
Right.
but they can't actually go anywhere.
Right.
So, and then you got Ileana, who's got the power to transport different places, even though she doesn't transport out of the fucking wherever, because she can literally go into another dimension,
Right.
and transport from in between dimensions. So she can go into this alien dimension and then come out somewhere else, but she only does it to transport like within the school,
Right.
which doesn't make any sense.
Right.
She also has the power of arm.
Yeah, her arm like gets all, because she's Colossus's sister.
Yeah.
So, Colossus gets all like cool armored body, but apparently only her arm does.
Yeah, and she gets a sweet
sword,
demon sword.
And she's got like a dragon.
Oh, yeah, that's right. She's got a little dragon. She got Lockheed.
Yeah.
Which I always associate Lockheed with Kitty Pryde, but she also was Ileana's pet too at one point. So, it sucks ass.
And then they defeat the bear, and then they leave. They like walk away.
Yeah.
And they're like, let's go find where the next town is.
And then that's it. And we'll never see those characters again.
Nope, bye.
We will never hear from the New Mutants again ever in any filmed fashion.
It's terrible.
There'll be a joke.
Yeah.
In the next Deadpool movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty certain.
Yeah, pretty much.
So that's kind of where that's at. So yeah, if you want to watch it, I mean, there's other stuff in there that's notable, but as far as scenes, but I mean, it's not a good movie.
No, it's not. It's bad.
It's pretty bad, and I would have been pretty pissed had I gone to the theater during the Ronas to see it.
Oh yeah, well no, I'm not going to the theater during the Rona to see New Mutants of all things.
No,
it was enough that I rented it on Amazon.
Yeah, but anyways, we will take a quick break, and we'll come back with our book for this week.
It was the early 1990s, the Dark Ages. The Transformers toy line was over. Finished. Without toys in the shelves to advertise, the comic book series created to sell them was likewise cancelled after an 80-issue run. Then, the impossible happened.
I didn't believe you. I thought you were lying to me.
Transformers were back in toy stores, and, perhaps even more importantly, Transformers were back on the comic book shelves as well. But this run of Transformers comic proved to be somewhat different than what we'd seen before.
I can implode neutrons!
All of a sudden, the battle between the Autobots and Decepticons threatened to have real consequences.
That was a low-yield neutron implosion. That was also the precise location of our transport. And Brawn!
Exploding off of the comic book pages with darker, grittier storylines and vibrant, some might even say neon colors.
The very first thing I noticed was a very 90s art style.
Truly, this was not your father's Autobot. Not Your Father's Autobot is a 13-episode, limited-run podcast beginning in early 2021. Join me, Mark Baker Wright, also known as GB Blackrock, and my brother, Nick Wright, as we go through the entire Marvel US run of Transformers Generation 2, issue by issue, as we look at the series that brought Transformers back from oblivion. After this series, Transformers will never be the same. Look for Not Your Father's Autobot on Podbean via blackrockstoybox.blogspot.com or wherever podcasts may be found.
All right, we're back here on Worst Collection Ever with our book for this week. It is The Question, number 21 from November 1988, suggested for mature readers. That's us.
Is it?
We are mature.
No, we're not.
We understand the nuances of the mature content of this book.
Numerically, we are mature.
Uh-huh.
Mentally, we are children.
No, we're fucked.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is surprisingly, just like last week, we were talking about how it's been such a long time. We've done this show for a long time, and we haven't gotten to like certain books.
Yeah.
And the question is one I'm surprised we haven't, because I've had like these issues for like a long time, and I've always wanted to do it, but we never got around to it. So I guess this is a good thing.
Sure.
As we carry on through our next 300 episodes.
Can we just, before we get started with this book, point out the fact that, I've never read any of these question books.
Uh-huh.
Vic's an asshole.
Yeah, he's kind of a shitty boy.
And I would never, no, I don't like him.
Yeah.
I just want to put that out there.
He's nothing like his Mulder-esque character from
his like conspiracy theory. He believes in QAnon. He's just sitting there screaming about Q drops. But he's much more fun in the
Q drops.
Yeah, he's much more fun in the fucking cartoon than he is here. Here, he is an asshole, and I want nothing to do with this character. So I'm just gonna put that out there.
Very, 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 very well put.
Yeah.
So the cover
he's
here,
cranky, and he's bitching about high school. Okay, we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Well, the cover is a nice stylized cover here of.
These are cool covers.
These are they're covers. The covers of these books are usually probably they're more intriguing than the stuff inside.
Yeah, agreed.
And the question is definitely one of those things. Like, the covers are just dope. It's kind of like Omega Men.
Yes. I loved those covers of that last Omega Men series,
or even New Mutants to a degree, because Bill Sienkiewicz, Bill Sienkiewicz draw. I love Bill Sienkiewicz's art.
Yeah,
and so anytime you're like, oh man, look at that Bill Sienkiewicz art, and you open up the book and it's just like, You're
like, oh, the book's not good, but man, these covers are amazing.
Yeah, right. So so on the cover here, we've got this gnarly looking dude, and he's got his hand on what you would think might be Vic Sage's the question's face, because he's got these weird nails, and he's pulling on this face that looks like it's kind of like the skin's kind of moving.
I guess it just looks like a monster.
Yeah, it's a weird
in the rain.
Yeah, it's a confusing cover.
Yeah,
it's in black and white.
Yep.
So. But we start off here. The story is called Rejects,
and this takes place like a while before the actual story.
Right.
So this is like a flashback where we have like the question is like is talking to this dude who's like his face is all fucked up because I guess he burned himself with acid.
Yeah.
And he shot his own father. And the question's like, oh, we're gonna call the police and. Because your dad's still alive.
Why the question is here, I don't know.
We don't know why the question is here.
He just happens to be here outside in the rain wearing a suit.
With these guys. He's like, but you're putting your coat on my dad. He wouldn't do that for you. He's a cruel, horrible person. And he's like, you shot your dad because he's awful and he thinks you're a pussy, basically.
Well, he says I poured acid on my.
Yeah, but he also shot his dad.
Yeah, but now he didn't pour acid on himself afterward.
No, this is beforehand. So this is like
he shot his dad twice.
No. He just hold on. So this guy has shot his father, and he's talking to the question, and he's like, "Well, I shot him because he's terrible. I also." Look like this because I poured acid on myself to try to make him love me so he wouldn't think I was such a pussy.
Right.
But he didn't, and it didn't work. And, now he's trying to kill my uncle, whoever this fuck guy this is.
Yeah, no, he, for some reason, he's trying to kill this guy's uncle.
So I shot him, and, my dad would if you were laying dead in the rain or almost dead, he wouldn't put his coat on you and you shouldn't get wet for him. And he's like, well, I never knew my parents, my mom or my dad. Maybe I'm the lucky one. He's like, no, you're the lucky one. And then he's like, okay, well, the cops are coming. I'm going to go get in this car.
The question is wearing like the baggiest 80s pants.
Ugh.
A lot of weird, a lot of baggy 80s fashion.
Yes.
Like a lot of, like I'm certain if the question was a woman, he'd be wearing in this issue.
We do see some lady fashions in this issue.
Yeah, that's true, we do.
And they're, high belted pants.
Yep.
And such.
Hammer pants.
So the question takes off his little face thing and he gets in the car with his buddy.
I don't understand. I've never understood his face deal because the idea is that he could put this skin on his face.
Right.
To cover up his face, but also there's a gas that while it's in usage,
you need the gas to take it off.
You need the gas to take it off, but also the gas turns his hair, because his hair is normally blonde.
Yeah, it turns it black.
But it turns his hair brown or whatever. And it doesn't, I never understood that.
Sure.
Like it's such a, because it's just temporary.
Right.
You know, and it just turns his hair back exactly to the normal color and stuff like that.
Right. It's just weird.
So, yeah, he gets picked up in the rain and that's it. So then we jump to a year later.
And this is where he's like bitching about high school, where he like works at a.
Oh no, we get this stuff here first in the hospital.
Oh, you're right. Sorry.
So in the hospital, we get a guy that comes in and he's got his face all wrapped up, you know, like a mummy.
Yeah.
And his face is wrapped up, but he's also wearing eyeglasses.
Yeah.
Because his eyes are just, I always appreciate people's face being wrapped up, but also like wearing glasses.
Yeah. Well, you got to still see, you know.
I guess so. I mean, you know, he didn't, you know, he planned for that, I guess.
Yeah.
He comes in though, and he says, "Okay, nobody move, but just keep doing what you're doing."
Right.
And the doctor's like, "Which is it?" You know, but he's got a gun, and he's like, "Okay, why don't you keep taking out this person's heart, and I'm going to take this heart from you because it's a heart. They're taking out somebody's heart."
Right.
And he takes out her heart, and the doctor's like, "Hang on, son, why don't you like calm down?" And this guy, I forget what his name is.
No, it doesn't matter. Weird face.
Yeah, gnarly dude. Shoots a bunch of doctors, and he holds a bunch of people hostage. The way that this is drawn here, too, it looks like the doctor starts foaming or something.
Yes, that's what I thought, too. I was like, did he shoot him with some sort of, like, acid? Because it looks like he's foaming, but I think it's just, I don't know. It's just the way it's drawn.
Yeah, he's just got
It's just a gun.
Like a machine gun or whatever.
Yeah.
So we jump to the Vic getting chewed out by his boss, who has the droopiest collar.
Yes,
I've seen. I enjoy this. This is a beleaguered news person. Yeah,
because apparently he like works at some like news station, and he like does he start bitching about high school here?
Well, because his guy is like, look, you know, his editor is like, look, you did a really good job, but you also like piss some people off with like your reporting.
Yeah.
So what I want you to do is go cover your high school reunion.
Yeah, and he's like, ugh.
Yeah, and so this is where he's
is this the plot of Superman? What is it? 3? 2?
Hey, yes, it's Superman 3.
It is Superman 3.
Oh no, Superman 2. 3. 2.
Whichever one Richard Pryor's in. 2?
2. 3.
I don't know.
3.
Which?
No, 2. No, 2. It's 3.
Yes. Okay.
I got confused.
I'm confused. I'm like, whichever one Richard Pryor's in, where they go to the high school reunion and.
Yeah. So basically, he has to go to.
And he's like, I hated high school. He's like, in high school, hated. There's all these like quips that he has.
Yeah, he's very grumpy towards high school.
And he's grumpy towards everything, and he's kind of a dick, and he's just like, oh, high school hated me, and I hated high school. I'm like, dude, you're like 35 years old. Let it go. I hated high school too. But you know what? Fucking let it go.
He has some pretty bad trauma though, because he I understand, but he's saying he was an orphan.
I was not an orphan.
You know, and he got a lot.
That would have been easier to deal with.
A lot of people just already wrote him off, at least from what the vibe that I get from what he's explaining.
Okay.
But I also, it's high school.
Right, and you're like a grown ass fucking man. Like,
also, don't just be like, I didn't want to go to my high school reunion.
Yeah, can I cover someone else's high school reunion?
Yeah, can I cover Clark Kent's high school reunion? I heard he's going to go.
I heard he's going.
I heard he's going to eat the potato salad over there. That gigantic bowl of potato salad.
It's going to be left overnight.
That's right, the leftover potato salad.
Yeah.
And they're gonna have a DJ, but we're only gonna show his dick for some reason.
That's right. Why do they only show that man's crotch? Yeah.
I like that's how I explained Superman 3. It's like, oh yeah, there's a Z on Superman 3, Richard Pryor's there, and then they showed they have this DJ.
And Richard Pryor's not going to interact with him at all, by the way. He doesn't go to the reunion. He's just like going to a security office that happens to be in Smallville for no reason.
Yeah, that's kind of...
Because weather computers. It's a dumb movie, guys.
That movie's fucking dumb. Well, this is where Vic, so he's got his coworker.
Yeah.
His coworker's like, hey.
And she's got the high pants.
Yeah, she got the high pants. And she's like, hey, what are you doing for dinner? And she's like,
he's like, I hate food. Food hates me.
No, he goes,
I know.
She goes, food hates me.
Yeah, I hate food. That's basically.
I went to go get mashed potatoes and just gave you the middle finger.
Yeah. He's like, I was going to eat those mashed potatoes and they fucking spit at me. Yeah, he's just basically a dick. But she's like, hey, what are you doing for dinner? I have this recipe for lamb curry. You want to come be my guinea pig? He's like, oink, oink. And I'm like, you know what? How about you fuck yourself?
Yeah, I think if I done that, had you been like, hey, you want to come over for dinner? I was like, oink, oink.
I don't know. Oink, oink, maybe. If I was referring to pigs, we probably could have let slide. But if it was like, he's just a dick. Anyway, so
it's appropriate if somebody goes, hey, you want bacon? I go, oink, oink. Then that's appropriate. But if somebody's like, hey, you want to, I'm your coworker that, you're kind of sort of interested in, you want to come over for some lamb curry in my apartment? I go, oink, oink.
Ugh.
Kind of weird.
Yeah. So he's like, yeah, that's cool. Like, finally, like, us looking at each other. It's going to be great. I'll see you at 8 o'clock. And he's like, oink, oink, oink. And so, well, when he goes to dinner, like...
We also says here real quick, he's like, I got to go and get some clean laundry, and I have to go pick up the deodorant that Joe Namath uses. So...
Was that a thing? Like,
I think he's talking about that Brute. Do you remember Brute?
Yeah, I know it's a cologne. Is it also a...
I think Joe Namath shilled it.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah, I think that was a thing back in the 80s.
I always thought it was like
right
guard was like the thing people shilled.
No, that was more 90s.
Okay.
I think Brute was a thing like for like, it was like, hey, are you a hunky man? Do you want to score? It was kind of like the Axe body spray of the 80s.
Oh, it's the Axe body spray of the 80s. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, because I'm like, what's he talking about? It's like, oh, that's right. I think it was Brute. But it was B-R-U-T, and it had the umlaut.
The umlaut, yeah. It's still a cologne.
Yeah, you can still buy it, I guess.
Yeah.
His editor, this is where his editor gets a phone call about, it's like, somebody stole a human heart? Get Vic Sage. Oh, wait, never mind.
Yeah.
So.
He hates hearts. So like he goes over, and then we just see like I'm assuming the aftermath of the date.
Well, we don't get to that yet.
We're not there yet.
We go to the hospital where.
Oh, that's right.
And this is weird
Stupid
because
hospital.
he goes on a date, but then like the next day, he goes to the thing.
So what's going on with the hospital right here?
Well, the hospital. This is where we got these two cops in this room with this guy, and they're like, "Hey, so and so this guy should have died months ago, but he's still alive." And it turns out this is the guy's father,
right?
The masked gnarly dude's father from the beginning, and he's just laying there, and they're like, "Well, they say he needs a new heart," and that's when gnarly dude walks in and he shoots the cops, and he's got like the human heart with him, and he's like, he tells a nurse to call basically the best heart surgeon and put this heart in my dad.
Mm-hmm.
That's that. But then this is where we get the aftermath of the date.
Yeah, so then it's like, I'm assuming this is after they've eaten, and you just see like the outside of her apartment. She's like, oh, it's not that kind of first date.
What's he doing?
Then that's what I was trying to figure out. What is happening?
Is he like punching her?
I don't know.
Because you just see like he was just sitting there, and
that's why the first thing you see is the outside of her apartment and a speech bubble.
Uh-huh.
The next one you see is like them sitting up on the couch and his arms just like all the way across. I'm like, are they sitting back up?
Well, I don't know.
Were they like laying down and he's sitting and he had his arm on her and now he's sitting back up on his side? So maybe that's why his arm, because it looks like he's like reaching past her other shoulder.
That's what I don't get. It's like instead of just kind of reaching around her and maybe trying to pull her closer, he's like going the opposite way.
It's just weird.
And maybe that just that doesn't seem like it works. It seems kind of awkward. But
I mean, I'll give this dude props for like taking no for a no. Good for you, Vic Sage. But at the same time, it's like,
your moves suck.
Yeah, and not only that, but then he like complains about being like stuffed up or whatever. Like
he complains about me. He says
blue balls, blue body.
What does he say? Does he say about?
He complains to himself, but he's still, it's still gross.
Well, he doesn't point out where he is gonna see her at work again, but it's just gonna be awkward and nothing's gonna happen or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, can a man die of frustration? If so, I'm meat. I'm meat. Instead of saying I'm dead.
Yeah, meat.
I'm toast.
Yeah.
It's like I'm meat.
Yeah, and I'm just like, it's because she's like, yeah, it's just, it's not that I don't think you're not cute or whatever. It's just that's not, maybe she's just not that kind of girl on the first date. That's fine.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, mixed signals, put my hat back on, got to go outside and go to my high school reunion now.
Yeah, he goes right
So
to
that's what I'm really confused by the timeline between the heart. Because if you have a heart that needs to be transplanted, like, we don't have time to fuck around with, like,
Homeboy's
dinners.
just walking around with the thing in the fucking the cooler the whole time.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, you don't have that long to transplant that heart.
Wasn't there that one episode of Justice League where it was Young Justice, where Flash had to deliver that heart?
Yeah, you don't have that long.
It's like, you don't have that long. You kind of have to from extraction to
implantation.
You don't have a lot of time.
Time is of the essence here. And no, but we're just fucking around with dates and fucking high school reunions. So what was his plan if his high school reunion is now? Was he going to go to dinner with this woman at 8:00, fuck her, and then go to his high school reunion?
He's going to show up fashionably late. I don't know. Because 8:00's kind of late. I mean, because usually the reunion probably would have been going on by
at least 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably, these people have kids now. As we see when we go to this thing, because he's like, his editor was like, is there any reason you might want to go to this reunion? He's like, Janie, whatever.
Yeah.
She made her body made my adolescent hormones do backflips. And I'm like, how about you don't be gross?
Yeah.
Because that's gross.
He's like, man, I got
it's not that he's thinking it. He tells his editor that. It's gross. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Couldn't it be like, oh, well, there was this girl, Janie, I liked. That's an acceptable answer.
Can't wait to have a big hard on at this reunion. I'm gonna win the award for best hard on.
When I was 14, my dick was hard. Did you like
He's a news reporter. Is that gonna be a part of his his deal?
I don't want
to. He goes
know
out there. It's like he's like, you know
your...
what? This is special editorial from Vic Sage. When I was 14, my dick was hard. Thank you. Whatever.
It's like join the most of the club, dude.
So we jump back to the hospital, and this is where they finally get this doctor he's going to do the surgery. I do enjoy this doctor's name, Cornelius Euler.
Yeah.
That's the doctor's name. He's Dr. Euler. Well, no, he doesn't. Okay, here's the thing. Vic doesn't even go straight to the reunion. He goes, so mind you, it's past 8:00.
Right.
He goes back to his,
editor?
No, this is like his buddy.
That's right.
This is like his Alfred.
So it's the Alfred. He talks about his hormones backflipping, and he's doing angry handstands.
Yes.
With no shirt on about how much he hates high school.
Yeah.
And he just bitches this whole comic about how much he hates high school, blah, blah, blah. And then his dick was hard. And I'm like, you're gross and nobody wants to be around you. So then he goes to his high school reunion.
Well, we get more. We keep going back and forth between his hospital thing because this is where the doctor is about to do the surgery.
Yeah.
And the father is like, kid, if you mess this, he turns to the gnarly guy and he's like, kid, if you mess this up, I'm going to kick your ass.
Let that fucker die.
So, fuck that guy.
He doesn't deserve a heart. Somebody else could use that heart.
I don't know, but I don't know why this guy's got such daddy issues where he's like, put this heart on my dad.
Not only that, he's just stealing a heart. And we see this later. You don't even know if that's the right blood type. No one has done any research.
Well, clearly it doesn't work because
heart is compatible.
Well, because even obviously later
it doesn't work.
It doesn't work clearly, but
R.I.P.D. that guy.
But also too, for the lengthy amount of time this is taking, you'd think that the authorities would have jumped into this somehow.
Right, and taken this heart away and given it to the young father who needs it. Whatever. Not Dick Cheney.
Well, I guess I don't know why there isn't why they don't get the word out. I don't know. It's confusing.
It's the whole timeline is weird.
Yeah, timeline is weird. So this is where we go to the a reunion.
And oh no, the chick he got a boner for is fat now.
Oh no.
Oh no. Now his boner is sad.
No backflips.
How will his boner ever recover?
Yeah.
I don't care. So then he's just talking to all these people and they're just telling
Well, he's
their
also
stories.
got a film crew with him too.
Yeah.
So so we just kind of get a lot of him talking to his different ex-classmates, and the way that
it should just be the camera on his dick just to see if anybody's going to make him hard. Is there a tent in those pants? Nope. Keep talking.
I can't get hard at this reunion.
My dick is sad.
We get him talking to a bunch of different people. It's weird because some of these people, like Vic doesn't look that old, but like some of these other people, I feel as if he's just talking to teachers. They all look like they're drawn like kind of old.
Well, he's, it's just stupid.
So he talks to this one guy. This one guy calls him Vicoid, which I think is funny.
Yeah.
But they have like this little story, and they get to this one guy. He just goes, "A vat of cherry vanilla ice cream spilled on me, and then they gave me ...
I'd love to hear more about that guy's story.
Yeah, what happened? And the look on his face is like he's like it's something really grim happened.
Yeah,
like the way this guy's
something
drawn.
awful happened to this man,
and he's just kind of like you're in the impression that he's just having these conversations with people, and he's just kind of tuned out.
It's a terrible time.
He goes ahead and he crumples this locker because he overhears people talking about him. Like he says, somebody is just calling him. Okay, so because he's changed his name, he wasn't whatever his name was in high school.
Because now he has like a TV name.
A TV name. So he's like, well, his name has changed, but he certainly hasn't. Just as obnoxious as ever, a real monster, which I think is a bit excessive.
Yeah, I don't know if I would go with monster, but again, we don't actually know what he's saying to these people.
I mean, he could be like, they could be telling him stories. He could be like, go fuck yourself.
Right? Or he could have just been like, oh my God, you don't make my dick hard anymore. And he just like karate kicked that woman in the face.
Karate kid.
You're just like, oh, because it is the 80s. He could have done like the crane.
Oh, he karate kid. Yeah, great. Yeah.
He's like, dick not hard, and just kicked her in the face so everybody thinks he's an asshole.
Miyagi, no erections. Yeah. No, he doesn't.
Erection sad, erection down, erection up, erection down, erection up.
Oh, brother.
We really shouldn't be allowed to talk to anybody.
No, we should. People should be calling us monsters.
Oh, we are. So he like puts his face on, like his fake face.
Well, no, this is when we jump back to the hospital.
Oh, I thought he was like leaving to go like.
You just want to get to the end of this book, don't you?
I do. Let's get to the questions. Also, it's really confusing because it jumps back and forth, and the timeline makes no sense.
So he goes. We get back to the hospital, and the gnarly dude wants to talk to the question. We assume his editor knows what he's talking about because, or maybe he doesn't. No, actually, maybe he doesn't because somehow he knows though. They talk about Vic. Yeah. Which is confusing. Yeah. Because like if he knows No Face Man, you don't.
Yeah. How does he know his name's Vic?
How does he know his name is Vic?
Because he should just knows the question.
Yeah.
Because people don't know they're the same person.
I don't think so. It's not shouldn't be a public knowledge that he's who No he Face is. So Vic puts on his masks though, and goes to talk to this dude. And I actually do enjoy this line where somebody is like, "Hey, take this gun," and he's like, "Nah, I'll probably just shoot myself in the foot." Yeah. And so the guy's like, "Well, why are you risking yourself?" And he's like, "Usual reason, curiosity." Yeah. So he's a good reporter. Not a shitty dude though. So this is where he goes he goes in, and he comes in, and he's like, he's like, "Hey, look, gnarly dude, your father is the one messing you up. Maybe you should reconsider what the hell you're doing here." And he's like, "Whatever, fuck it. I'm gonna kill everybody if the transplant doesn't go well." This, that, the other thing. And so he's like, do it now. And the doctor's like, "Well, we already did it." And he's like, "Oh, you did it?" And he comes out, and like they're watching the beepy thing. The monitor, the monitor has a name. Well, the father comes out of anesthesia, and he's like, "Kill him," or whatever. Kill him, and then he just dies. Mm-hmm. And we get we kind of get like the equivalent of a comic book equivalent of the Californians when they go to each of those different faces. Yeah, and it's just like face, 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 face. And he's like, "Oh, do I do it?" And he's like, "You don't have to kill all of these people." Well, because the heart rejected his body because they clearly didn't test it. He was just like, "Put this heart in my dad." Yeah, so they just wasted this heart that somebody else could have had. Yeah. So they were like, "Well, it didn't work, so I guess I have to kill everybody now." And he like takes off his bandages. Does he shoot a dude? I think he tries to, and then Vic, like, again, pulling the crane, he like karate kicks him. Well, no, but
I don't know if that's a guy. I think that's a guy.
I think so too. I think he shoots.
It also could be a hippopotamus.
It looks like because it's a big fat person. Like
It's
so
just
it could
a blob.
Could be Dr. Euler.
That might have been Dr. Euler.
R.I.P. Dr. Euler.
It could have been the fat lady from the party.
Oh yeah, she came
Vic
by.
just
and
brought her over. He was like, shoot her because she makes my dick sad.
So he karate kicks, but he ends up getting a scalpel in his hand.
That's right.
You know, which has to suck. But Vic ends up subduing gnarly dude, and he's like, "Hey, cop friend, why don't you like get me out of here the back way?"
He's like, I hope this scalpel was sterile.
Yeah. And he's like, why don't you take it easy on this guy? And the guy's like, well, look at him. He's a killer and he's a monster.
And he not only did he kill people, hold people hostage, he also stole an organ.
Yeah. That's a
big deal.
That's a big deal. And he's like, well, and there's nothing sadder than a monster, is there? And the guy's like, you sound like you're talking from experience. And he's like, let's just say it's something I learned in high school. I'm like, what?
You're a monster? Did
monster?
you really kick that woman in the face?
He must have did something.
He
really,
must have.
He must have like put his dick at the potato salad or something. You know
that somebody caught him stirring the punch with his dick.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand why.
I like how all of our things involves his dick. It's a lot of question stuff with his
He's
dick.
a very dick-centric character, at least in this issue.
He's
He's like
a penis.
He's like, well, he didn't get to fuck that one lady, that his dick was sad at the reunion, so I'm assuming it has to do with his dick.
Yeah, that's true. But
I mean, unless he just like shit on something at the reunion.
yeah.
He's like, hey, DJ. Ugh. He shits on him.
He took a shit on the ones and twos. No, he requested something really lame for people to dance at. And they're like, you monster.
Yeah, I'm just like, why are they? I don't understand why they're calling him a monster.
Yeah, it's a bit excessive.
Unless he really just did something that, terrible that we didn't see.
Maybe he is a monster.
Yeah.
I don't know. So that's how this ends, though. And we just get a letters page. Let's see. What's going on? Well, the letters page is called The Answer.
Okay.
It's clever.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm okay with it.
Sure.
And we get a bunch of questions here about the dude, the question.
Mm-hmm.
Next month, election night, suspense amounts. As we often say back in Chicago, vote early and vote often. That's next issue of this, which
question.
I might have.
Sure.
Did you want to read it?
Vic's kind of a huge dick. I'm not a huge fan.
I might actually go through and read the rest of these and get rid of them because I've had these forever.
Yeah.
And I just feel like I hang on to them because I'm like, oh, maybe I'm going to enjoy these someday. And I never really do.
Yeah.
I just kind of never get around to it. So maybe I'll just power through these and see where it goes. But yeah, I don't know. Upon reading through it, Vic's just kind of a sausage. He's not like his fun usual way.
Right.
In the cartoons.
Yeah.
I feel let down.
I do too.
What a bummer. Anyways, that's it for this week's show. Thanks for listening. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Angry Hero Sean.
And I'm at Jen Stansfield on Twitter and Instagram. Find the show on Facebook, Worst Collection Ever, and email the show, worstcollectionever@gmail.com.
And please rate, review the podcast on Apple Podcasts or anywhere you get the show. Tell your friends. It would be greatly appreciated. We always can use more reviews, such as reviews from, I don't think we have any new reviews. I was going to see real quick if we had any new reviews. Oh, maybe it is our buddy. I guess you could, so I guess you can review multiple times.
Oh, neat.
Oh, this is from our buddy, Rick.
Yeah.
A fellow that contacts us often. He
on the good Twitter.
From the Twitter, he viewed us a week or so ago, and he says it's just called Boobies. 5 stars. There's nothing like a deep VN, big boobies. Great job, guys.
Yeah. I think when he said you could just put tits or whatever.
Yeah, I think he listened.
So thank you. I appreciate that.
Listener, guys.
Maybe laugh. I like him.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Rick. Thanks for your thing. And be like Rick and please rate, review on Apple Podcasts or anywhere you get the show. And again, tell your friends. Thanks again for listening, folks. We'll talk to you again soon.
Bye.